a tall, skinny blonde with wild flyaway curls and braces on her teeth. By the next year, they were inseparable, and nothing had changed after all these years, except the ring on her finger and his job. "I'm sorry, Shelly. I promised you this assignment will be my last undercover job, and I meant it. I can't give you a timeline, but I can keep that promise. Can you give me that much?" Shelly crawled into his lap and put her arms around his neck. "I would wait for you forever," she whispered, and leaned into his kiss, shivering from the touch of his hands on her bare body. It was Jack who finally called the inevitable halt as he grasped her by the shoulders. "I love you so much, but I have to leave. I've already been gone too long. I don't know when I'll get to see you again," he said, then made himself get up and finish dressing. Shelly was trying to distract herself from dissolving into tears. "You do know all that long dark hair is kinda sexy." He grinned as he stomped his feet down into his boots and then pocketed his car keys. "Not nearly as sexy as you sitting naked in that bed." She laughed. He blew her a kiss and was gone. She heard the security alarm being reset, and then nothing, which meant he had parked somewhere else and came to their house on foot. One of Jack's first concerns with every undercover job he'd been on was to make sure the perps never found out Shelly existed. She glanced at the clock. 3 hours of sleep. Oh my God, but he was worth it. She lay back down, pulled the covers up over her bare body, and cried herself to sleep. 5 blocks over, Jack was standing in the shadows only yards from his car, searching the area to see if he'd been made. He stood motionless for a good 10 minutes, until he was satisfied there was no one awake in his vicinity, then walked out of the shadows, got in his car, and drove away. The city streets of Houston were never devoid of traffic, but it was sparse compared to what it would be after the sun came up. He drove straight toward the Port of Houston, to a warehouse on Morgan's Point owned by his current boss, a man named Adam Ito, who ran an import-export business. Ito had been on the Fed's watch list for at least 3 years, a suspect dealing in black market weapons to whatever country was willing to pay his price. So far, they'd never been able to pin anything on him, which was Jack's latest assignment: find the evidence to take him down. But 4 months undercover was getting old. By the time he got back to the warehouse, it was nearing 4:00 a.m. He parked up near the building, pocketing his keys as he reached the entrance, then knocked. The door swung inward, bringing Jack face to face with Mahalo Jones, the man who ran Ito's work crew. Mahalo frowned. "Where the fuck you been?" "Chasing tail. Get out of the doorway," Jack growled. Mahalo's frown deepened, but he stepped aside, then yelled at him as he was walking away. "It's a good thing you didn't turn up late for the shipment coming in. Boss man would have had your ass." Jack turned on one heel and in seconds was in Mahalo's face, jamming a finger into his chest. "I chased ass because it's my damn life, and I'm here because a shipment isn't due for hours, which means I am not late, and I don't take crap from anyone, so save your damn opinions for someone who cares. Got it?" Mahalo looked like he wanted to punch Jack in the face just to watch him bleed, but he didn't. Judd Wayne, Jack's alias, was known as the kind of guy who would fight until one of them was unconscious or dead. When Mahalo didn't say anything, Jack nodded. "That's what I thought," he said, and headed for the crew's lounge area. All he wanted was one of the cots to grab a couple hours of sleep, but the hair was standing up on the back of Jack's neck as he walked away. He could feel Mahalo's hate, but that went both ways. When he got to the lounge area, he eyed the cots scattered about the room. There were 7 other men sleeping in this room, and 2 empty bunks. One empty bunk was at the back of the room, and one at the front. He chose the one closest to the door, giving him a quick exit should the need arise. He pulled the 9mm Glock from his shoulder holster and laid it beside the pillow. The airless room reeked from the varied odors of unwashed bodies and the remnants of week-old pizza slices. But discomfort was all part of the job. He hung his jacket over a ladder-back chair against the wall beside the bed, took off his boots, and then rolled over onto his side facing the door.